5:31 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the accused CEO killer makes a court appearance, and the Texas AG takes on the NCAA. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Monday forecast: partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low 63, right now 61 degrees. The suspected killer in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is expected to go before a Manhattan judge today on New York State charges, including murder and terrorism. Not been provided. The crash also injured 5 one-year-old children. 4 of them are home from the hospital, but one is still in critical condition. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with funeral costs for Rosales. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the National Collegiate Athletic Association over the issue of transgender athletes. Brian Gann has more.
Paxton says the NCAA violates the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act by allowing biological males to participate in events advertised as women's athletic competitions. Paxton accuses the NCAA of jeopardizing the safety and well-being of women by allowing males to compete against them and of misleading fans by not identifying which athletes are transgender. Brian Gann, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Alamo Dome Field has a fresh paint job ahead of the 32nd annual Valero Alamo Bowl. The event's president and CEO, Derek Fox, says the upcoming game between BYU and Colorado will have a higher economic impact on the city than usual. Fox says the game's average economic impact is about $40 million, but with 2 out-of-state teams, it'll probably be higher. Kickoff is at 6:30 Saturday night. It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money in the world of business. We say good morning to Courtney Donahoe live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Charlie Parker in the next hour with Those Were the Days. EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, technically flying the Millennium Falcon solo this morning. Coming up later this half hour, we are hearing from you on this Festivus. We want you to air your holiday grievances. We're going to play them on the air. You cleanse your soul. You'll feel better. We'll feel better. And we'll be ready for Christmas Eve tomorrow. Well, there was a government shutdown over the weekend. Technically, it lasted for about 38 minutes Saturday morning because the deadline was midnight Eastern time, and the Senate did not complete its vote on the short-term government funding bill until about 12:38 a.m. So, Charity, technically a 38-minute government shutdown. How did it affect you?
Didn't affect me whatsoever. Glad they were able to, work a little bit of overtime to get the job done, which is the least they can do.
Yeah, it's funny how when they were talking about you're going to have to stay through the holidays to get it, I guess, hammered out, and they managed to get it done in 38 minutes so they could get on their holiday break.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that works.
But they can really get stuff done when they really want to.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting is now the shutdown is March 14th, which is right in the middle of Donald Trump's first 100 days, and they didn't put that debt limit in there that he wanted. So this is going to be interesting how he handles that.
That will be very interesting. Remember that day, March 14th. Some of the items involved in the passing of this short-term government funding bill, it included $100 billion for disaster aid, $30 billion aid to farmers, and a one-year extension of the farm bill. Interestingly, $100 million for pediatric cancer research was removed. But the good news for that, the Senate unanimously passed a separate bill that was sent to the House to help fund pediatric cancer. I think we can all say funding pediatric cancer research is probably a good thing.
Most definitely. And why this doesn't, address the debt limit like T said, which was a key demand from President-elect Trump. House Speaker Mike Johnson has indicated that he's going to address the debt limit early next month. So it might actually come sooner than the March 14th deadline.
Well, I'm hoping that they figure something out before that March 14th deadline so we don't go through this once again, because it seems like we tend to do this every year, and it's just getting old, isn't it?
Yeah, and hopefully, and you mentioned the first 100 days of the Trump presidency, which that will fall under, hopefully with Republican control beginning on the 20th of January of the executive branch, the two houses of Congress, the Supreme Court. Hopefully Trump just lays down the law and says, we're going to fix this. We're going to come to an agreement. We're not going to wait until March 14th at the final hour. Hopefully, just in general, I think a lot of people, I know there's a lot of optimism among many people in financial markets that things are going to begin to get better on January 20th.
And maybe it'll just take an X post from Elon Musk to light a fire under Republicans on Capitol Hill. That continues to be amazing how much influence he has.
It really does. It really does. I mean, that's huge. So much so that former president or president-elect Donald Trump brought that up in his rally yesterday, because a lot of people are saying that, Elon Musk is really going to run the country. That's not so.
Yeah, and we do have that audio for you a little bit later this morning in our segment. Wait till you hear this at 7:10. You don't want to miss it as President-elect Trump addresses all of this speculation about Elon Musk. Coming up, flashback. We will go back in time and we'll see if you or we can figure out what year we land in. And we're still taking your talkbacks on the TalkBack feature on the free iHeartRadio app. What are your holiday grievances? Just get them out in the open and then be done with them on this Festivus. WOAI News Time, 545. We jump into the DeLorean. We activate the ultimate flux capacitor, and then we accelerate to 88 miles an hour, and we are going back in time, baby. But what year are we going to land in? See if you can figure it out. We'll try to figure it out. Let's play flashback. Oh,
Wow.
83, 84, or 85. Do you think you know what year it was? We will reveal the year in just a sec. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
The president-elect is refuting claims Elon Musk is guiding Trump's policies. Luigi Mangione is due back in court in New York City today, where he's expected to be arraigned on state charges. And the UTSA Roadrunners are in South Carolina for today's Myrtle Beach Bowl. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies, early becoming partly cloudy later today. Slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s near 80. And then on Christmas Day, a few clouds, otherwise generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. It is 60 degrees. WOAI News Time 5:51.
Okay. Flashback. The Golden Girls making its television debut, season 1. Out of Africa with Meryl Streep. Just hand her another Oscar. Lionel Richie, Say You, Say Me. It was either 83, 84, or 85. Charity, any ideas?
I thought it was 86, so I'll go with 85, I guess.
I'm leaning 85-ish myself.
I'll go 85. Why not?
Let's find out. Here we go. Charity
Right on,
McCurdy.
Charity.
Hey.
Close enough to 1986.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo. Very,
Yeah.
very nice.
It was close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough for radio on Festivus as we air grievances. And Charity put it best earlier in the show. The reason you air your grievances on Festivus is to cleanse your soul. You don't want to go into Christmas Eve or certainly Christmas Day with any grievances. You want to start fresh. You want to be cleansed.
Amen.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Who knew
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Seinfeld and Jerry Stiller played the
Yes,
dad,
he
right?
did. Yes, he did.
Jerry Stiller would usher in a whole new holiday tradition.
And we love him for that, by
We
the
do.
way. Yes, we do.
He is the patron saint
A
of Festivus.
Yes.
Isn't there a Festivus poll? Have we put
Yes.
up our Festivus poll?
Yeah, we just
Here
put
at the
some leaves.
station?
We just put some limbs on it.
No,
though.
in fact, there's see that little orange pole by the
Yeah,
door over
that'll
there.
be
So
our new Festivus poll.
We've got
Yeah,
a
there we go.
Festivus poll.
We got one.
Okay.
Later on, there'll be feats of strength.
So we're asking you, and we'll play you a few here in a sec. We want to hear your grievances on Festivus, your holiday grievances, ideally. They could be any grievances, but we're thinking holiday grievances. Charity, how do they tell us?
The free iHeartRadio app, you search 1200 WOAI, look for that red microphone button, hit it, 30 seconds to air your grievances.
Yeah, they'll sound something like this.
RK here. Good morning, everybody. It's just going to be so wonderful wearing a T-shirt on New Year's Eve on the hog, baby. But you know what? I think that what they ought to really do is make snow in a jar, especially for Chris. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Good morning, San Antonio. One of my holiday grievances is just yesterday, we were at a holiday dance show for my granddaughter, and someone had a huge cowboy hat on, and we were all just trying to peer around it to see the show. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's not good cowboy etiquette. Be considerate of others. Y'all have a good day.
Amen.
Hey guys, Tim from Lotto. I have no grievances or complaints. We got 2 weeks off for Christmas as teachers, so I don't have anything to gripe about. So I got my friend Elijah take her test machine for Christmas, and she said, "Oh, I love it." I said, "Yeah, we'll see about that, won't we?" And what did the third wise man say after the first two had already presented their gold and frankincense? He said, "But wait, there's myrrh."
Stephen from Lytle. If you've got a comedy club you want to sponsor, Stephen from Lytle's
Amen.
Talkbacks. That's aching for it. Now, the guy before Stephen from Lytle, Charity, that is, there should be cowboy etiquette. You wear a big old cowboy hat and you're at a show and there are people sitting behind you. You should maybe, and this is my grievance about the people at HEB flying out of like the aisles and just not even looking, and they could collide with me or anyone else, and certainly with someone with reflexes not as fast as mine because I'm jerking my cart out of the way to not get hit by them. It's all about considering other human beings, and if you're wearing a huge old cowboy hat at a show, maybe you take that hat off.
I'm telling you, it's just a lack of self-awareness. And I treat like HEB lanes like traffic. If I'm going one way, I get over, to the right-hand side, and I expect them to come over to the left or vice versa. I don't know. I'm so confused because people just make up their own rules.
Yeah, or the people that just stop in the middle of the aisle, stop to look at both sides and try to look at something instead of moving over to the right and let people go by on the left. I used to, in my past life, would run into them, softly, just kind of nudge them. Oh, I didn't see you stopped in the middle of the aisle.
Well, and they will stop, or if they don't stop in the middle of the aisle, they'll stop almost in the middle to the left, and they'll get between themselves and their car.
Yes.
And they're perusing. So you're blocked.
Yeah.
You're totally, and you're standing there going, come on.
Yeah. Move.
So what I do when I go down an aisle now, Charity, at HEB, I will park my cart at the end of the aisle, then I'll just walk down the aisle. It's because I don't.
You can get around much easier.
Yeah, I can move faster, and I figure I'm not blocking other people because I'm aware of other people, which I think everybody might want to consider.
Yeah, I wish I had that luxury. I usually have a kid in the cart, so I don't have that option. But yeah, I'm with you, though. It's annoying.
You send the kid out as a blocker.
Yes.
Just kind of move everybody out of the way, come on.
Well, and it's so ironic because we talk about HEB a lot. We generally love HEB.
I love HEB.
We love the HEB employees who tend to be amazing. And yet, and this is why I tell you, Charity and Mr. T, this is why I don't like people. It is the people, not the employees. It's the customers, the people who ruin the HEB experience for me. And that is yet another one of my Festivus grievances.
I like it.
We need HEB aisle cart directors.
Or lanes. Let's have lanes, Everybody, right lane when you're going, just like you are in a car.
Arrow.
Exactly, because that imaginary line in the middle is not working. It is not working.
So we have grievances on Festivus.
Just a little.
And we want to hear your grievances on the free iHeartRadio app. Charity has everything you need to know coming up at the top of the hour. Big 6 o'clock hour will feature Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. And we'll talk about that horrible situation, that man in Killeen driving that truck into the crowded mall. Just god-awful. We'll react to that coming up as well. WOAI News Time, 5:58.
6 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Trump talks Elon Musk influence and holiday shopping turns into tragedy. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Monday forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low 63, right now 61 degrees. President-elect Trump is dismissing speculation that billionaire Elon Musk will control the White House. Here's Lisa Carton.
Speaking at a conservative group, Turning Point USA's America Fest in Phoenix, Trump denied claims he ceded the presidency to Musk.
No, that's not happening.
The two men faced controversy last week after Musk publicly criticized a spending bill aimed at averting a government shutdown, after which Trump followed suit. Musk has been tapped to run the Department of Government Efficiency, which Trump plans to create once he takes office. I'm Lisa Carton.
Representative Tony Gonzalez says the U.S. should be concerned about terrorists entering the country through the southern border. The Texas Republican appeared on CBS's Face the Nation.
While the Biden administration has started to do some things right, the Trump administration is going to do everything right.
Gonzalez went on to claim there's a risk of border authorities letting in migrants with terrorist ties. As the Texas legislature prepares to start its next session, the race for House Speaker is yet to be settled. Republican state representatives Dustin Burrows of Lubbock and David Cook of Mansfield are the lead candidates in the increasingly contentious race. It is possible that Burrows or Cook may assemble the needed 76 votes, but another House member could step in as a compromise candidate. The next legislative session starts January 14th. Several people were hurt after a man crashed his car through the doors of a J.C. Penney in Killeen. Here's Sergeant Brian Washko with the Texas Department of Public Safety.
He did drive through the front door of the J.C. Penney store, striking 4 people. Those people were transported with severe to minor injuries. And there was one other patient that I just recently found out was a walk-in at the emergency room relating to this incident.
Authorities say the incident began as a car chase Saturday night. The driver of the car was shot and killed after multiple officers began firing at him. He's been identified as 53-year-old John Darrell Schultz of Kempner. A holiday drone show went awry in Orlando as drones fell and collided with the crowd. Here's Fox's Deborah Valentine.
The Orlando Fire Department said a 7-year-old boy was hospitalized after being struck by falling drones during the Orlando Christmas show.
Oh, no. I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
The injured boy's mother spoke with Fox 35 in Orlando.
It was so surreal. It's like when you see those movies of the bird crashing into the window.
The city of Orlando canceled the show, citing technical difficulties. A spokesperson told Fox 35 the city is reaching out to the vendor. The FAA is investigating. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
It's another day of the Teamsters union strike against Amazon just ahead of Christmas. Amazon says it's not as big as it's being sold as because only around 1% of its workforce are union members. Drivers say they want better working conditions and pay, and for Amazon to recognize them as employees. Meantime, Starbucks union workers are striking in several cities with the pledge to keep the movement going through Christmas Eve unless a new collective bargaining agreement is reached. 4 Party City locations in San Antonio will close as the company shuts down all of its stores nationwide. The New Jersey-based Party City filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection last January, but hasn't been able to find a way out of its financial struggles. Well, one lucky winner could score a Mega Millions jackpot worth nearly $1 billion on Christmas Eve. Here's Fox's Ted Linder.
The winner of the jackpot on Christmas Eve would mark the 7th largest prize in Mega Millions history and the largest ever one in the month of December. The jackpot now sitting at a whopping $944 million. The last jackpot win was back on September 10th. A jackpot winner in Tuesday's drawing could accept the winnings in annual annuity payments or a lump sum estimated at $429.4 million. Historically, December's been a pretty lucky month for Mega Millions players, with 13 jackpots won during the holiday season. But Mega Millions saying the jackpot has only been won once on Christmas Eve. The chances of winning the jackpot around 1 in 300 million. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
The UTSA Roadrunners are wrapping up their football season with a bowl game against Coastal Carolina in today's Myrtle Beach Bowl. UTSA is listed as the home team in the matchup, even though the game is at Coastal Carolina's home field of Brooks Stadium. Kickoff is at 10 o'clock this morning, and the game will air on ESPN. And the Spurs take on the Sixers in Philly tonight. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs report. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, big 6 o'clock hour is upon us on this Festivus. Speaking of Festivus, we'll continue to take your grievances, your holiday grievances on the free iHeart Radio app a little bit later this hour. In fact, at 6:48, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. Coming up at 6:20, drones have been in the news, and a drone injured a young boy at a public holiday celebration over the weekend. We'll talk about that. And coming right up, we'll talk about that horrible story at that mall in Killeen, the vehicle crashing into the J.C. store, injured customers, and the driver of that vehicle shot and killed by police. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Clouds this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s near 80. And then on Wednesday, Christmas Day, a few passing clouds, otherwise lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. It is 60 degrees. WOAI News Time, 612.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T. He's got grievances. She's Charity McCurdy. She's got grievances. I'm Chris Duell, and I've got grievances on this Festivus for the rest of us. Awful story. Charity's been reporting on it this morning out of Killeen, Texas, about 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. A suspected drunken driver who was later identified as 53-year-old Daryl Schultz of Kempner, Texas, drove his truck into a mall in Killeen through the front glass doors of a J.C. Penney, continued inside, striking several people, sending at least 5 to the hospital. He was shot and killed by police. Here's Texas Department of Public Safety Sergeant Brian Washko.
He did drive through the front door of the J.C. Penney store, striking 4 people. Those people were transported with some severe to minor injuries. And there was one other patient that I just recently found out was a walk-in at the emergency room relating to this incident.
You know, Charity, whenever I think of Killeen, I think of another vehicle driving into an establishment. Of course, that was the Luby's, that horrible shooting in that Luby's decades and decades ago. But my God, any incident like this is horrible. Yet when something happens, how many of those people, all of them, I imagine, shopping in the J.C. Penney, were shopping for Christmas. Everybody was in the Christmas spirit shopping, and you certainly don't expect this to happen.
Yeah, peak time, Saturday evening around 5 o'clock. This couldn't have happened at a worse time, and you feel horrible for those victims. 5 people injured, ranging in age from 6 to 75 years old. We don't know their conditions at this point, but kudos to those officers who eliminated the threat, including 3 off-duty officers at the time.
Yeah, but can you imagine you're have your family with you, your kids, you're shopping at J.C. Penney, right before Christmas. Granted, maybe you weren't one of the people that got hit, but your kids were there to see law enforcement take this guy down inside the store, and you've got to explain to your kids what happened. I mean, I just can't imagine being put in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. And they had to take him down because he was continuing to drive his vehicle and run people down inside that J.C. Penney. So that's an awful story. Another awful story that we'll cover. It was a public holiday celebration involving, we talked about this last week, those multiple coordinated drones that they use for entertainment, but something went horribly, horribly wrong. Drones came crashing to the ground and it injured a young boy. We'll walk you through that story coming up, get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. WOAI News Time, 6:15. Okay.
Hey guys, we're back. We thought we were down, man. We were, all powers of be told us we were locked up and frozen.
Yeah, Tommy Miller, welcome. My wife Beth just texted me and said we're live on YouTube. We thought it crashed. We thought it was just done. So here we are. Carol Garza, welcome. Jacob C. Hernandez, Tommy Miller, D Taco Kid from Alamo Town, welcome.
I love that name, by the way.
So happy to be back on YouTube.
Even though we really didn't know we were.
Yep. Crazy.
It's the things you learn, Chris.
Yes.
It's like the things we do for love.
Things we do for love. Thank you, Beth, for letting us know. We had no idea. We thought it was down.
Like walking in the rain and the snow where there's
nowhere to go, and you're feeling like a part of you is dying.
One of these days, Chris. One of these days. And we're back.
Does it say in this story how many drones there were?
Didn't say how
I'm
many.
skimming it and I'm not seeing. It sure looks like a.
Well, it was a nice performance because I saw a video of it earlier.
Yeah.
They were doing like a Christmas tree and all that. Sam and Chris, stand by.
Thank you. Several synced drones in the sky at night in Orlando for a dazzling holiday spectacular. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we'll talk about that coming up. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
President Biden is commuting the death sentences of 37 people, leaving only 3 federal prisoners on death row in the country. A 7-year-old boy in Florida is recovering from heart surgery after a drone reportedly hit him in the chest, and investigators are trying to determine the cause of a deadly apartment fire on the city's northwest side. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon. Slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s near 80. And then on Christmas Day, a few clouds. Otherwise, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. We're at 60 degrees. WOAI News Time, 622.
San Antonio's first news. Well, we've been talking about drones a lot lately with all of those drone sightings on the East Coast and over New Jersey. And I brought this up last week, these synchronized drone shows for entertainment. I talked about one using seemingly thousands of drones that I saw video of in China. Well, there was a holiday drone spectacular show outdoors in Orlando at Orlando's Lake Eola Park. And something started to go very, very wrong. Drones started to fall from the sky. Mr. T, you were telling me earlier you were seeing them forming Christmas trees
Christmas
in the sky.
Trees, doves, swans, Santa Claus. They were doing all kinds of things.
So one of the drones hit a 7-year-old boy with such force that it damaged one of his heart valves. His mother said the blade cut his mouth. There was actually an imprint of the drone on his chest. Charity, as you just reported, he had to have heart surgery. Now, this was a horrible accident, but my point after all this drone talk is imagine if somebody wanted to do something bad with drones. Just horrible for this 7-year-old boy.
It is. And it really makes you pause and think, okay, do we want to gather in large crowds to take in an aerial drone display during the holidays? And most of these drones are made in China. And so if our adversary wanted to carry out some kind of attack, a highly coordinated attack, because there's going to be hundreds of these drones in the sky. I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but is it? It really makes you pause.
Now, and for the way I understand how these things work, they're all run by a computer.
Yes.
Well, look, I'm hoping they're using better computers than we are here at work, because if your computer freezes up, I mean, that's what happens.
Great point.
That's why they start falling out of the sky, or you could get hacked.
Yes.
Get hacked and somebody else makes them fall out of the sky. So there's all kinds of things that could go wrong.
Yeah. So these are things that can go wrong under the category of an accident, Charity. And my concern, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think the next big threat to our country, if terrorists or a bad actor country like China or Iran figures out how to either put some sort of armaments on drones, and we already know they do that in drone warfare, or God forbid, a pathogen on drones, and an outdoor football stadium, a baseball stadium, some kind of an outdoor event. You coordinate this with a computer the same way you do a holiday light show with drones. My God, you could wreak havoc.
You really could. And apparently the drone show was organized by Sky Elements.
Yep.
It's a Texas-based company that performs events like this nationwide. So prayers for that little boy. I hope he pulls through. But so sad. He also got damage to his face. One of those blades hit him in the mouth. So he has more than just one injury. And that heart one is already severe as it is.
Lots coming up. Charity has all the big headlines coming at you at the bottom of the hour. Charlie Parker in the next half hour with Those Were the Days. WOAI News Time 625.
And we're back.
I don't know if RK is with us on YouTube at the moment. RK, we just heard you talk back about the flying cell phones. If anybody can make that happen, I think Elon Musk could make that happen.
I don't know if I want my cell phone flying to me, though. Can't we just have a drone bring it?
Yeah. Well, RK says if you forget your cell phone at home, you just press a button. I don't know where you'd press that button.
On your keychain.
On your
carry a
keychain.
button on your keychain, and then
your cell phone will fly to you wherever
we'll play
you are.
it for you here coming up in a little while. You'll be able to hear it straight from RK's mouth.
But how's it going to get out of your house if the doors are shut?
That's a great question, Chris.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking.
Elon will figure that out.
Yeah.
We'll all have a
automatic
hatch portal in the top of all of our homes. That things can, and then Amazon can just drop packages from drones right into your house. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing at all, Chris.
Are we
Nothing at all.
back to government shutdown here, or do we have anything else?
If you want, we could do. Me and Charity can review Red One for you.
Why not?
And do Christmas movies. Let's do some Christmas movie chat there.
Okay.
I got a list.
Okay.
So do you.
Yeah, I sent you all a list.
I know, and there's a list that I printed for you.
Yeah, no, I like that better.
And then also we can talk about the fact that there's going to be 2 games on Christmas.
And there's a UTSA
on
game.
Netflix.
Pregame has begun.
On Netflix, yes.
2 games on Netflix?
Two games on Netflix Christmas Day.
God bless
What could
America.
possibly go wrong, Chris?
Well, and I heard Charlie complaining about football games on Christmas Day. I'm sorry. I live by the credo, more football is good football.
Well,
that includes Christmas Day.
And here's what I say about that. You don't want to watch it, don't.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Good
making
point.
you watch it.
Good point.
It's not a law that you have to sit there and watch football on Christmas Day. My wife's excited because there's like 20 NBA games on Christmas.
Is it called Red One?
Yes. Very good, by the way. I took Charity's her recommendation by heart, and it was actually very entertaining. And if you got kids, you should watch it because it explains Santa Claus like never been explained before.
Yeah. So Charlie said two things. His final appearance of 2025 that made me go, Number one, he said he didn't like football games on Christmas Day.
Right.
Violating my life credo. More football is good football. And then he said, he was talking about Christmas songs. He hates the Christmas classic, Santa Claus and His Old Lady by Cheech and Chong, which is, to me, is a Christmas. I heard it on the way. I was on Sirius XM this morning driving in, and I heard it in its entirety. And
so good.
What struck me when I was a kid, I didn't understand it. He talked about Santa Claus's old lady would make these brownies. He goes, they were so good, I could eat one of them. When I was a kid, I didn't understand I could eat one of them. It was great.
It is fantastic.
Now, the kids tell me that some people put illegal substances in brownies.
No way,
That's
Chris.
why I now understand that joke.
No way.
Senator Joe Manchin on Fox right now. Have you ever noticed his very manly chin?
Yes. Here comes Charity,
He's got
everybody.
a very manly chin.
6:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the DHS secretary speaks out about the accused CEO killer, and the Texas AG takes on the NCAA. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Monday forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low near 63, right now 61 degrees. The Homeland Security Secretary says the recent killing of a healthcare CEO in New York City concerns him because of how it's been glorified. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says what bothers him about the killing earlier this month of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan is
the heroism that is being attributed to an alleged murderer.
On CBS Face the Nation, Mayorkas called it a heightened threat environment fueled in part by social media, not just against CEOs, but government as well.
Personal grievances and the language of violence.
Thompson's alleged killer, Luigi Mangione, is in New York to face federal and state charges, including murder and stalking. In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
President Biden is commuting the death sentences of 37 people, leaving only 3 federal prisoners on death row in America. Biden announced this morning that he condemns the murders committed, but can't in good conscience advocate for the death penalty at the federal level. Biden's administration has imposed a moratorium on executions, and the president says he can't let a new administration resume the executions that he halted. President-elect Trump delivered remarks at Turning Point USA's America Fest in Phoenix, where he touted his election victory and performance with young voters.
We won by 36 points with young people. That never happens. A Republican loses by 36 or 40. So I'm going to have to start thinking about TikTok. I think we're going to have to start thinking.
And backers of Trump are eager to see his plans for mass deportations. Here's Rex Oates.
There's bipartisan agreement that illegal immigrants with orders of deportation should be the first ones targeted by the raids. But after that, it gets muddy. Congressman Henry Cuellar predicts there'll be a debate over dreamers who were brought across the border as kids.
We certainly want to make sure that the people that are here that have no criminal records, have been here for a long time, that they will be allowed to stay here.
The Texas border Democrat thinks the incoming president will agree. Trump told NBC News that when it comes to deportations, DACA recipients will be at the back of the line. He promised to do something about their status. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A holiday season government shutdown has been avoided. The House passed a stopgap measure 366 to 34 over the weekend, with the Senate following suit. President Biden signed the short-term funding bill Saturday morning. Several people were hurt after a man crashed his car through the doors of a Killeen J.C. Penney. Sergeant Brian Washko with the Texas DPS says the driver was ultimately killed after actively running people over.
There's officers from DPS, the Killeen Police Department, and 3 other agencies that engaged in gunfire to eliminate this threat to the community.
Authorities say the incident began as a car chase Saturday night. 5 people ranging in age from 6 to 75 years old were injured. The driver has been identified as 53-year-old John Darrell Schultz of Kempner. Investigators were trying to determine the cause of a deadly apartment fire on the northwest side yesterday morning. The fire at the Fredericksburg Place apartments damaged 2 units, and 2 more suffered smoke and water damage. Firefighters went to rescue a woman who was calling for help from a balcony, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the National Collegiate Athletic Association over the issue of transgender athletes. Brian Gann has details.
Paxton says the NCAA violates the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act by allowing biological males to participate in events advertised as women's athletic competitions. Paxton accuses the NCAA of jeopardizing the safety and well-being of women by allowing males to compete against them, and of misleading fans by not identifying which athletes are transgender. Brian Gann, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The FDA wants to make America healthy again by doing a deep dive on artificial food coloring. That's music to the ears of healthcare workers who say the current study suggests there might be a link with diabetes and ADHD.
Some of the children might be a little bit more sensitive to dyes than others.
Dr. Cristiane Morales at UT Health San Antonio says the problem is all the studies have been small. The FDA's deputy commissioner told lawmakers it's been over a decade since the safety of red number 40 has been re-evaluated. The Alamo Dome field has a fresh paint job ahead of the 32nd annual Valero Alamo Bowl. The event's president and CEO, Derek Fox, says the upcoming game between BYU and Colorado will have a higher economic impact on the city than usual. Fox says the game's average economic impact is about $40 million, but with 2 out-of-state teams, it'll probably be higher. Kickoff is at 6:30 Saturday night. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money in the world of business. Courtney Donahoe is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. He is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She is Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Lots going on this Festivus for the rest of us. We continue to take your grievances on the free iHeartRadio app. But I know the two of you, and Charity, you recommended it to Mr. T and to me. Mr. T looked at it over the weekend, and I don't think he has a grievance with it. A Christmas movie, I think on Netflix, called Red One.
It's actually on Prime Video. But
is it on Prime Video?
Prime Video. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with an all-star cast. And, you know, it's a little edgy. It's PG-13. There's a lot of action. There's girls in bikinis. I think that's as bad as it gets. But, yeah, no, I thought it was well done. And who doesn't like, you know, fighting killer snowmen and Krampus and a muscular Santa Claus? I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and look, and if you got kids, yes, it is PG-13, but it does explain Santa in a way that I've never had it explained to me before, to where he's almost like a president with his own, his own security forces, and they actually explain how he gets everywhere on Christmas Eve. You know, I mean, it's pretty good.
See, I had thought, Charity, that it was maybe a kid's movie. Yeah, like a lot of Christmas movies are, obviously not all of them. So I thought, maybe I'll give it a look. Maybe I won't. But then Mr. T comes in this morning raving about it.
That was great, man.
Apparently Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, not the original Rock, but the current Rock, is apparently a prominent role in this.
Yes, Chris Evans as well.
Yeah.
And J.K. Simmons plays the buff Santa.
You're talking about buff, man. He is, man. For an older dude, he's pretty built, man. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So do we move this very high on the list or to the top of the list of Christmas movies we should take a look at?
Well, I'll put it right behind National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
which I like.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes,
love that movie.
And I know, Charity, we know that you like Elf.
Yes, and Polar Express. My son can't get enough of that, so that is also a top 5.
See, I'll put it in the top 5 right behind Die Hard. No,
I got to go with Bruce Willis on that. It's amazing how that's become such a big controversy. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Just because it happens on Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie, but I enjoy it. I love that movie.
Now, it wasn't, I got a bone to pick with you, Mr. T. It wasn't a Christmas movie, but I did on Friday night, based on your recommendation, I went to Peacock and I looked for a Very Barry Christmas.
It wasn't
featuring Barry Manilow. It wasn't there. I even hit search.
I checked on Friday when we were talking about it, and it said it would be on Peacock.
Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe they're just blocking me.
That's very possible.
From a Very Barry Christmas.
That's very possible.
So, all right, so we've got Elf. We've got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We've got Red One that Charity and Mr. T recommend for Christmas.
Amen.
I guess we'll add Polar Express, although I think that is a kid's movie, isn't it, Charity?
It is,
Big time.
Okay, so what else, if I want to get, I've got 2 more days, sort of. Festivus today, Christmas Eve tomorrow to get ready for Christmas. Any recommendations of Christmas movies still to go?
Well, if you're not too burned on it, there's always It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm burned out.
Me too. My wife loves
I'm
that
so
movie.
burned
Man.
out.
It'll be
Yeah.
on sometime over the holidays at my house, I guarantee.
Or you can, go Arnold Schwarzenegger, go Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's got Sinbad in it, though, so I kind of stay away from Sinbad.
Yeah. The Family
Just saying.
Stone is a tear jerker.
I do like that movie, but I don't consider that a Christmas movie.
Now, what is that?
The Family Stone.
I don't know the family. I know Sly. Sly and the Family Stone. Is Sly Stone in that?
No.
No, it's a family getting together for Christmas, and one of the sons brings home his significant other who he is planning on proposing to, and it just kind of digs into just the emotional connection between the family. And later on, I don't want to spoil it. Just watch it. It has Luke Wilson, Diane Keaton, Sarah Jessica Parker, Rachel McAdams.
My goodness, what a cast.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of people in it. It's Craig T. Nelson. You mentioned that, right? Craig T. Nelson's the dad. It's good.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
My wife loves that movie too, so I
Okay.
can't get by without watching that movie.
All right.
I try to do what the wife wants to do from time to time.
And I wonder if I think all the Seinfelds they're on one of the is it Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you search because today is Festivus. I would like to search and find the Festivus episode. Can you search the episodes on Netflix?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
It's from 1997. I do know that
It's
much.
season 9, episode 10.
Yeah, there you go.
How the heck did you find that so quickly?
I just Googled it. I typed pretty
Season
fast.
9? Okay.
You don't do that during flashback, do you?
Are you kidding?
No, of
It's
course not. How
multiple
dare you?
choice. It's
Bite
multiple
your tongue.
choice.
Bite your tongue, sir. Okay, season 9, episode what?
10.
Yeah, episode 10.
Season
Season 9,
that
episode
is-
10.
That is must-see
It did
TV
air
for
on
me today.
December 18th, 1997. I do know that much.
Wow, it's been around since 97.
Yeah.
I will watch the Seinfeld Festivus episode. But before that, more of your Festivus grievances coming up. And Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. WOAI News Time, 645.
All right, everybody, we're back.
TalkBack montage. SWAT Cats, welcome in.
SWAT Cats.
Tommy Miller. TalkBack
Yep,
montage.
see? The Mora Mythological Oversight and Restoration Authority. ELF. That's who Rock is the head of the
Wow,
ELF.
okay.
ELF, which is Enforcement, Logistics and Fortification for the Santa, for the president. They treat him like he's a president. It's funny as hell, man. Yeah, Chiefs and Steelers at noon and Ravens and Chiefs at 3:30 on Netflix.
Chiefs keep winning. They've got a home field throughout the playoffs.
If I was them, I would shut Mahomes down right now.
Yeah.
I would not let him play again.
Well, this was the first time ever our YouTube
I know.
stream crapped out and then came back to life.
Yeah. It's a Festivus miracle.
It's a Festivus miracle. That's our second one of the morning.
I love it. So you can actually watch both, Sam. You got the Spurs and Knicks are on at 11 o'clock. They tip at 11:10, and then the Texans and Ravens aren't until 3:30.
Woo! And the UTSA Roadrunners, 10 o'clock
10 o'clock
this
this morning, man. I got to try to get home and get there in time to watch it.
And what's the name of that bowl?
The Myrtle Beach Bowl.
What is it? Something? Is
No,
it
it's the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Full-on Weed Eater
No,
Myrtle Beach
I don't
Bowl?
believe there is a sponsor. I think Myrtle Beach is this. Let's look it up, though, Chris, because you might be right.
I'm shocked that it's just Myrtle Beach. I'm shocked that it's not Doritos.
Doritos Myrtle Beach Bowl. So does that mean that we're going to see our assistant program director?
I do believe so.
No, it's just called the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Wow, shocker.
Yeah. The Fighting Chanticleers against the Fighting Roadrunners. Two birds going at it. See, I think Myrtle Beach is just because they're, showcasing it for tourism.
Yes. Okay.
Myrtle Beach.
I got you. Makes sense.
Because it's played in Brooks Stadium, located in Conway, South Carolina, which is actually not Myrtle Beach. It's like a little suburb.
Did not know that.
Yes. It will air on ESPN, folks.
Woo!
National TV, everyone.
And an opportunity, they're both 6-6, for UTSA to finish the season 7-6 above 500.
That would be awesome. They're favored.
13.5. That blows my mind.
That's insane. That's cray.
Yeah, because it's essentially a home game for Coastal Carolina.
Yeah. For the Fighting Chanticleers,
That's
Chris.
not right.
It's the Fighting Chanticleers. All right, here comes Charity.
Well, President-elect Trump spoke at the Turning Point USA America First event with a focus on border issues. The DHS secretary is concerned about online rhetoric following the United Healthcare CEO murder, and Texas AG Ken Paxton is suing the NCAA over biological men and women's sports. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, slight chance for shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy, slight chance for shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s near 80. Wednesday, Christmas Day, a few clouds. Other than that, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. We're at 60 degrees. WOAI News Time, 6:53.
San Antonio's first news, our thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. Coming up at 7:10 in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, we will hear President-elect Donald Trump at the America Fest rally in Phoenix, Arizona over the weekend. The subject of Elon Musk came up, and a lot of people saying Elon Musk is the shadow president, or that Donald Trump might abdicate some of his powers to Elon Musk. Donald Trump sets the record straight on those issues. We will listen in. But today is a very special day because today is
A Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes, a Festivus for the rest of us. And Charity, we're asking people to air their grievances, as you said so appropriately earlier in the show. You got to cleanse your soul. Get that out of your system, out of your psyche, so you'll be feeling better and ready for Christmas Eve tomorrow. Charity, how do they get in touch with us?
The free iHeart Radio app. You search 1200 WOAI. Look for that red microphone button. Hit it. 30 seconds to air your grievances on this Festivus.
Yes, it's a Festivus for the rest of us, and here we go.
Good morning, San Antonio First News. This is Bulletproof. My Festivus dislike is I dislike Congress doing continuing resolutions. Do a budget, do your job, or you don't get paid. That's it.
Amen.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Complaints and grievances. I definitely echo with Charity that taking advantage of people with high dollar parking prices is wrong. I'm not a fan of Aggies at all, and especially when they say gig 'em all the time. But other than that, I love traffic and crowds ever since the pandemic. It really doesn't bother me. That era of time was so sad and full of fear. Merry Christmas.
The arcade's back. All right. I'm going to write a letter to Elon this year. I'm going to get him to make a cell phone that looks just like a spaceship. There's going to be a little button you put on your keychain. And if you leave the house and you forgot your cell phone, you push that little button and your cell phone flies directly to you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, RK, and happy Festivus.
Has he been hitting the eggnog or what? That's a good idea, but how's it going to get out of the house?
I know. What if it's in your house, it's got to open the window and fly out? I don't know.
Well, I say smartphone.
Hey, man.
Doggy door? I don't know.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't put it past RK. Kemper was interesting there. She doesn't like outrageous parking fees like Charity, but also Aggies who say gig 'em all the time. Now, we know she's a hardcore Texas Longhorn. And special shout out to Kemper for going to Buc-ee's. Charity, did you see the photo of Kemper at Buc-ee's?
Yes, I gave it love. And she was ready to be our personal shopper
I know.
at Buc-ee's. But no, I that was so cool to see.
Bad news, though. She told me they no longer carry a pie in a jar of any kind, which is
that was
a
a
bummer.
staple.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Man.
Apple pie in a jar at Buc-ee's, forever gone.
Great stuff.
And then I hear on the news this morning, Party City is going away.
What?
So I love Party City and I love apple pie in a jar from Buc-ee's.
Just a great.
What am I going to do?
I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Well, Charity and Mr. T, I was taken aback by something Charlie Parker said on this program last week. And I know Charlie Parker loves football, but Charlie Parker revealed he does not like football on Christmas Day. And that violates one of my life credos, which is more football is good football, even on Christmas Day.
Well, yeah, I get that. But my thinking is if you don't want to watch it, don't.
Yeah.
Nobody's making you watch it.
Nobody's forcing you to watch football. Charity, is it sacrilegious to have football games on Christmas Day?
I call it options.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
It's good to have different entertainment options. And please, all these professional sporting industries are making good money on Christmas. Don't shed a tear for them. Yeah.
My only concern on the Christmas Day football games is both of them are on Netflix. And if you remember what happened last time Netflix tried to show a sporting event, it did not go over well. I just hope that the football doesn't start buffering, because then they'll be in a world of hurt, man. We're talking boxing against football. You mess up a football game, people are going to come find you.
And then starting at 11 a.m., the Spurs will be in New York taking on the Knicks on Christmas Day.
There's like 20 NBA games on Christmas Day and then 2 football games.
Now, you said the last time Netflix aired a sporting event, was that the Mike Tyson,
Yes.
Jake Paul
Yes.
fight?
Yes.
That was buffering.
Well, I watched it the next day and didn't have any of those issues. But if you tried to watch it live, a lot of people were really ticked off because it kept buffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that happens during the football game, it's going to be hell to pay.
I can only hope that Netflix, because of that experience, and a lot of people were critical of that experience during the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight, hopefully they've fixed their issues.
I have horrible internet at my house. I keep waiting for fiber optic. I see it being installed in other surrounding neighborhoods.
Even in Floresville.
I don't know what's taking so long.
I don't either because we got it in Floresville. We live out in the country and we got it.
Yeah, I got a friend, an ex-brother-in-law, used to be married to my sister. Doug lives in Rogers Ranch, and they've got Google Fiber. They've got fiber, and that's just right down the road, Charity, from where you live. So, don't they know who you are?
I was going to say, don't they know who you are?
No.
I mean, I'm your neighbor.
No.
So.
But I'm just surprised. Have you called them? Have you called Google Fiber and said, I'm Charity McCurdy and I'm kind of a big deal and I'd like better internet in my home?
No, but I have Googled, my address, zip code to see if it's on their radar for installation, and so far, no luck.
Have you tried GVEC?
I don't think they aren't they out in the country. I don't think
sometimes, but you never know.
You
never know. Put your address in.
We're
see what
inside
happens.
Loop 1604.
That's how I found
barely.
I have the package deal. The cell phone, the internet inside the home, that kind of thing through AT&T.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
No Spectrum where you guys live?
We do, but no
Spectrum internet.
No, we've got Spectrum, and we never have an internet problem. We've got
it's fiber optic. Yeah.
Oh, is it fiber?
I believe so. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You may want to think about Spectrum.
I don't know. Remember that internet outage for Spectrum customers earlier this week that created all that problem?
I don't think that happened at my home, but yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was a thing, yeah.
It was a thing, Chris.
It was a thing.
Definitely a thing.
I mean, we reported on that thing right here.
I Googled it. It was a thing.
Yes. Coming up, Donald Trump did a thing in Phoenix at America Fest. That's coming up on Wait Till You Hear This. And Charity will have all the things you need to know about right now because WOAI News Time is 7 o'clock.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Trump touts his policies and holiday shopping turns into tragedy. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Monday forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low 63, right now 61 degrees. President-elect Trump talked about more policies he plans to reverse from the Biden years as he gets ready to assume the presidency again. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
Beyond border policies and tariffs, President Trump promised at the Turning Point USA conference in Arizona to act on. He also pledged the former names of military bases will soon return.
I will restore the proud and historic names of our great military bases like Fort Bragg. We're going to get them back.
He also promised to end diversity, equity, and inclusion policies government-wide. And beyond that,
We're going to ban them from the private sector as well.
President-elect Trump called these changes part of a common-sense revolution that will mark his new administration. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Representative Tony Gonzalez says the U.S. should be concerned about terrorists entering the country through the southern border. The Texas Republican appeared on CBS's face the nation.
While the Biden administration has started to do some things right, the Trump administration is going to do everything right.
Gonzalez went on to claim there is a risk of border authorities letting in migrants with terrorist ties. President Biden is scrapping the death sentences for more than 36 federal inmates. Here's Fox's Jared Halpern.
37 of the 40 inmates on federal death row will be spared from lethal injection. President Biden has commuted those death sentences to life without parole. The Biden administration has imposed a moratorium on lethal injections in cases other than terrorism or hate-motivated mass murder. President Biden is not commuting the death sentences for 3 inmates. Robert Bowers, convicted of a mass shooting at a synagogue, Dylan Roof, convicted of a mass shooting at a black church, and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, convicted for his role in the Boston Marathon bombing. In a statement, the president says he cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions he has halted. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
As the Texas legislature prepares to start its next session, the race for House Speaker is yet to be settled. Republican state representatives Dustin Burrows of Lubbock and David Cook of Mansfield are the lead candidates in the increasingly contentious race. It is possible that Burrows or Cook may assemble the needed 76 votes, but another House member could step in as a compromise candidate and take the title. The next legislative session starts January 14th. Several people were hurt after a man crashed his car through the doors of a Killeen J.C. Penney. Here's Sergeant Brian Washko with the Texas DPS.
He did drive through the front door of the J.C. Penney store, striking 4 people. Those people were transported with some severe to minor injuries. And there was one other patient that I just recently found out was a walk-in at the emergency room relating to this incident.
Authorities say the incident began as a car chase Saturday night. The driver of the car was shot and killed after multiple officers began firing at him. He's been identified as 53-year-old John Darrell Schultz of Kempner. A holiday drone show went awry in Orlando as drones fell and collided with the crowd. Here's Fox's Deborah Valentine.
The Orlando Fire Department said a 7-year-old boy was hospitalized after being struck by falling drones during the Orlando Christmas show.
Oh no! I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
The injured boy's mother spoke with Fox 35 in Orlando.
It was so surreal. It's like when you see those movies of the bird crashing into the window.
The city of Orlando canceled the show, citing technical difficulties. A spokesperson told Fox 35 the city is reaching out to the vendor. The FAA is investigating. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
The UTSA Roadrunners are wrapping up their football season with a bowl game against Coastal Carolina in today's Myrtle Beach Bowl. UTSA is listed as the home team, even though the game is at Coastal Carolina's home field of Brooks Stadium. Kickoff is at 10 a.m. and the game will air on ESPN. And the Spurs take on the Sixers in Philly tonight. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs Insider, brought to you by SWBC. Today's Spurs Insider brought to you by SWBC. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, big 7 o'clock hour. It is upon us. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Our thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. I'm Chris Duell. EJ Pacheco flying the Millennium Falcon solo this morning. Lots to talk about in this 7 o'clock hour, including President Joe Biden raising some eyebrows by some death penalty sentences, some very high-profile ones that he has commuted. We will talk about that coming up. We continue to react to that awful story out of Killeen, Texas, an apparent drunk driver fleeing police, driving his vehicle into a mall, into a J.C. Penney, hitting multiple customers, causing injuries before police officers took him out. And on this Festivus, for the rest of us, we're hearing from you about your grievances. What are your holiday grievances? And coming right up on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, President-elect Donald Trump at the America Fest rally in Phoenix over the weekend, talking about Elon Musk and his role in the upcoming administration. First, your traffic and weather together.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy later today. Slight chance for shower highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower highs in the mid to upper 70s, close to 80. And then on Christmas, a few clouds, otherwise generally sunny and highs in the upper 60s. It is 60 degrees. WOAI News Time, 7:11.
San Antonio's first news. Every weekday morning at this time, we span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. The point on the globe that we head to right now is Phoenix, Arizona, where over the weekend, President-elect Donald Trump spoke at the America Fest rally. And a lot of people talking about Elon Musk and his role in this administration. A lot of people calling Elon Musk President Musk. And those are among the things that Donald Trump addressed in Phoenix over the weekend. Let's listen.
And we will create the new Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. You know, they're on a new kick. Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 all the different hoaxes. And the new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? Right? Don't we want that? He's done a great job. With a stroke of my pen on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. President McKinley was the president that was responsible for creating a vast sum of money in the United States that Teddy Roosevelt then spent. So let's say they were both excellent presidents, but McKinley did that, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to bring back the name of Mount McKinley, because I think he deserves it. Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said, take it back. That's a good idea. It was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question. I'm not going to stand for it. So to the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly.
Wow, lots to unpack
man.
there. And regarding the Panama Canal comments that we just heard there from Donald Trump over the weekend in Phoenix at the America Fest rally, the president of Panama, they're flipping out in Panama. The president of Panama said, hey, we own all territory in Panama. We own the Panama Canal. It is sovereign territory for Panama. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk needs to X about it, and maybe something will get done. We'll just wait and see. Yeah.
Look, if he does just everything that he mentioned in that little clip of a montage of what happened yesterday in Phoenix, he's going to be a busy man. He's going to be nonstop working.
And so much of that he talks about day one.
Yeah.
Charity, just January 20th, Inauguration Day, going to be very fascinating to see. If he does half of the things on day one that he's saying he is, and we have no reason to doubt him, that is going to be a big, big, big day.
Yeah, I think there'll be several liberal heads exploding with his executive orders on day one. He plans to actually take action on day one in the White House. So we'll see what happens.
And doesn't it feel like he's already president? Don't you have that feeling? Because we haven't heard much from Joe Biden at all. It's like Donald Trump's already president. He hasn't even been inaugurated yet because he's hit the ground running.
Well, even though we haven't heard much from Joe Biden lately, wow, we sure heard something over the weekend. Joe Biden commuted the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates, and a lot of those are high-profile crimes. We'll talk about that coming up. Get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. WOAI News Time 7:15. Coming up, Joe Biden commuting the death sentences of several death row inmates, including some very, very high-profile murderers. We'll talk about that coming up. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
The president-elect is refuting claims Elon Musk is guiding Trump's policies. Luigi Mangione is due back in court today in New York City when he's expected to be arraigned on state charges. And preparations are underway for next Saturday's Valero Alamo Bowl. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s, near 80. And then on Christmas Day, a few clouds, otherwise lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. 60 degrees right now. WOAI News Time 720.
San Antonio's first news. Less than 2 weeks ago, we talked about President Joe Biden and all of his pardons, which turned into the largest single-day grant of clemency in American history. Well, now Joe Biden is commuting 37 death row inmates and reclassifying their sentences to life without the possibility of parole. And shockingly to me, at least 3 of these are very, very high-profile murderers. Robert Bowers, responsible for the mass shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018. That killed 11 people. You remember Dylan Roof? Remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
A white supremacist who killed 9 black parishioners at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. And remember the Boston Marathon bombing?
Yeah.
Dzhokhar Sarnev worked with his now dead brother in that 2013 bombing that killed 3 people. Now, obviously, Joe Biden is not a big death penalty guy. He apparently only supports the death penalty at the federal level for terrorism and hate-motivated mass murder. That certainly describes
Sounds
Dylan
like
Roof.
Yeah.
And the guy at the synagogue to me.
And the
certainly.
marathon bombing.
Yeah. We've talked about this, Charity. You want to talk about a legacy that Joe Biden is going to leave. My God, does he want to pardon the 9/11 killers as well? You know, even after their death? This is crazy.
Yeah, I was under the understanding that the clemency action applies to all federal death row inmates except those 3 that you just mentioned, convicted of terrorism or hate-motivated mass murder. So it's 37 other people who had death sentences. But I'm with you, though. I feel for the families of the victims of these convicted murderers. How must they feel getting that news today?
They must feel awful, but just think about this. They've gone through their trials. All these 37 people that got sentenced to death went through their trials. And now you're going to change that to where they're in life in prison without parole. Let's just hope that they have a hard time in prison.
Well, and again, Charity, I thank you for that because I read that wrong.
Did I.
My head was exploding here.
I was exploding with you, Chris.
My head was exploding here reading that. But still, so you had 40 people before today, before this action, that were on death row. So 37 of the 40, other than those 3 heinous killers, get clemency. And the reason he's doing this, obviously, he doesn't want these other 37 death row executions to take place under soon-to-be President Donald Trump, which they certainly would.
Yes, because under Trump's first presidency, more people were put to death than under the previous 10 presidents combined. So that's just kind of what you can expect during the next 4 years. Trump is pro capital punishment, and though it's kind of eye for an eye type situation. So this is a preemptive move on Biden's part to prevent the new administration from resuming the executions that he halted.
So it is nothing to do but politically motivated is what I'm getting from this. But still, the money that was spent on each one of these trials, because every time it's a death sentence trial or there's a possibility of a death sentence, those trials are very expensive. We pay for those trials. The taxpayers pay for those trials. And now you're going to say, okay, we went through this and convicted all these people, gave them the death penalty, and now we're going to say, no, that's not right. You're going to just have life in prison without parole. Come on.
Huge point. You had federal prosecutors in each of those cases, Mr. T, that we paid for. You had juries or judges after examining the evidence, and you had victims of the 37 death row inmates. You have murderers there who have committed multiple crimes. You've got families who want closure, and they believed that they got that closure from the federal government in these federal trials, and that's unconscionable, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, this is just part of Biden's legacy. Add this to pardoning his son Hunter. It's not a good look.
Not a good look, but look. We talked about when he pardoned Hunter. If it was my kid, I'd probably do the same thing, even though it's not the right thing to do. But it is your kid, and it's hard to take yourself out of that. But I still don't like it. But I understand a little bit.
Our problem with the Hunter Biden was you lied. You lied multiple times.
You flat out told us. I'm not gonna do that. No.
And we see through it. You lied because it was an election year. And when you first lied about Hunter Biden, you lied because you thought it was going to be you that was facing Donald Trump in the November election. And then when it was Kamala Harris, you continued to lie about Hunter Biden because you didn't want to further slime her and you wanted to give her every opportunity to win the election. We will continue to track this story. It's and I mean, you think about it, we've still got, this is December 23rd. Biden is in office until January 20th. We'll see what other pardons, what other clemency, what else he comes up with before he leaves office. Lots more coming up. We will talk more about that horrible story out of Killeen coming up at 7:40. Charity with all the big stories at the bottom of the hour. WOAI News Time, 7:25.
Are identifying a 22-year-old teacher who was killed when two cars crashed through a fence at a Montessori school last Thursday. Alexia Rosales' cause and manner of death has not been provided. The crash also injured 5 one-year-old kids. 4 of them are home from the hospital, but one is still in critical condition. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with funeral costs for Rosales. Texas Attorney General Kim Paxton is suing the NCAA over the issue of transgender athletes. Brian Gann has details.
Paxton says the NCAA violates the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act by allowing biological males to participate in events advertised as women's athletic competitions. Paxton accuses the NCAA of jeopardizing the safety and well-being of women by allowing males to compete against them and of misleading fans by not identifying which athletes are transgender. Brian Gann, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Alamo Dome Field has a fresh paint job ahead of the annual Valero Alamo Bowl. The event's president and CEO, Derek Fox, says the upcoming game between BYU and Colorado will have a higher economic impact on the city than usual. Fox says the game's average economic impact is around $40 million, but with 2 out-of-state teams, it'll probably be higher. Kickoff is Saturday night at 6:30. It is 7:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money in the world of business. Courtney Donahoe is at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Well, late Saturday afternoon, police got involved with a chase. In fact, Texas DPS, to be specific, with a suspected drunk driver in Belton, Texas. That chase went over 20 miles to Killeen, where the alleged drunk driver, 53-year-old Daryl Schultz, then plowed into the glass front doors of a J.C. Penney in that Killeen mall, continued to drive through, knocking down people, injuring at least 5 who went to the hospital. Police ultimately shot and killed Schultz as this was going on inside the J.C. Penney. Here's Texas Department of Public Safety Sergeant Brian Washko, talking about the officers involved in stopping the suspect.
There's officers from DPS, the Killeen Police Department, and 3 other agencies that engaged in gunfire to eliminate this threat to the community.
Thank God law enforcement was there, but so many people were injured, Charity. And we talked about this earlier, the fact that this is a horrible, heinous crime anyway, but all of the shoppers in there, in all certainty, shopping for Christmas just seems to make it worse in my eyes.
Yeah. And the victims, they range in age from 6 to 75 years old. And this happened around 5 o'clock on Saturday, peak time, busy holiday shopping season. The malls are begging people to do their Christmas shopping in person at the mall versus online. I mean, there's just, it's a tragedy on so many levels. But thankfully, again, those law enforcement officers, including 3 that were off duty, were able to eliminate the threat.
Yeah, and appreciate them eliminating the threat. But here's what I don't understand, and I never will understand this as long as I've been around, how people think they can outrun police officers. I don't get it. You're never going to outrun them. You might get away for a minute, but they're going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a suspected drunk driver, you're just adding charges on. Every time you don't stop at anything, you're just adding charges. And this time, it cost this man his life. And hopefully these 5 people that were injured don't succumb to their injuries. But I just don't understand. How do you think you can outrun police officers?
So crazy. And it happens so frequently. And I'm a little surprised this guy's 53 years old. Daryl Schultz, the guy who ultimately was taken out by police. You know, often you look at someone trying to outrun police. It's usually a male in his 20s or 30s. You would think a 53-year-old would have a little more life experience, Charity, to know what Mr. T just said. You can't outrun the police. It's not going to happen.
No.
And I realize he was allegedly inebriated, but how is that your instinct? Let me just crash through this building and drive through a mall. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that either, Charity. I just don't understand, first of all, why you run. Second of all, why you think that going through a mall is going to get you away, and how you just think you're going to get away with it anyway. Everybody thinks they're smarter than everybody else is what it is. Oh, I'll outrun them. My truck's faster than their cars ever are. You might have a fast car and outrun the police car itself, but you're never going to outrun the radio and all the other police officers. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid in the 70s learning to drive, I was taught you can never outrun radar.
No,
they will get you down the line.
They'll find you.
Yeah. And Charity, you alluded to this at the outset of our discussion here. You know, the malls are trying to get shoppers to come to the malls in an era where, and I talk about it all the time, I'm an Amazon shopper. I would rather shop at home. The inconvenience of parking at the mall, just the hassle of having to walk through things and look for something when you could just search for it in a search engine on Amazon or somewhere online. And then you do have to factor in, and God bless the injured here, and we pray for their recovery. You do have to factor in bad things can happen at malls. You know, there can be gangs, there can be bad actors at malls, and, you know, God forbid something as horrible as this happens.
I just remember, I think of, Texas malls. I remember the Allen, Texas mall shooting. That was May of last year. But I mean, you had 9 people, including the gunmen, that were killed in that shooting. And the youngest being a 3-year-old boy. Oh. And it just makes you think, is it safe to do your shopping, at brick and mortar retailers? I realize these tragedies are few. They don't happen as often as we think they do, but still, it's just something that sticks in your mind and looms large in your decision-making process when it comes to how you're going to get your holiday gifts.
Yeah, but in my mind, if it happens one time, it's too many. So, it makes me think twice about one. I just don't like going to malls anyway. I never really have. So
dealing with other people just in the parking lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
that's
the
your
parking
first
alone.
hurdle.
Thank you. I have a hard enough time at HEB dealing with parking at HEB. Now you want me to go to a place where there's more people? I don't think so.
And Christmas season, parking your car in a parking lot, they steal gifts, they steal packages out of your cars, and they steal your cars.
Yeah.
So, a lot of, I know a lot of people work at malls, and God bless you. And I want everybody to, enjoy commerce and capitalism and make a good living. But my God, there's a lot of arguments for getting your stuff at home, and that's what I tend to do these days. Coming up, it is Festivus for the rest of us. More of your holiday grievances, and if you haven't lodged yours yet, and we're doing this to cleanse your soul, as Charity has told us earlier this morning, Hit us up on the TalkBack feature on the free iHeartRadio app. Search 1200 WOAI. Hit that microphone button. You got 30 seconds to leave us a message. We'll listen to some of yours coming up. Get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. WOAI News Time, 746.
And we're back.
Woohoo! I got to pull up my YouTube to see the people in here. Lucinda Sullivan, good morning. Tim from the Philippines. The Taco Kid from Alamo Town.
I love that name, by the way.
It's a great name. Maybe the greatest name we've seen in a while. SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats, baby.
Sam Tobias, a great American. Welcome in.
And anybody else who's in here, we don't see your name. Good morning.
Point. Yeah, there's 18
Good morning.
right now. My YouTube says there's 18 people in here at the moment.
Wow, that's what mine says, Chris.
If we see you, we say hello, but we don't always see you.
And if we don't see you, we'll say hello.
And if
see
you
how
don't
it
chat,
works?
we don't see you. Not that you have to chat, but we like to say hello.
So those of you on the chat, do you have any Festivus grievances you'd like to share? We'd be glad to read those to people.
Woo!
We're full service, Chris. I have a montage ready to go.
Oh, how many?
3.
Beautiful.
I can make it longer if you want.
Up to you. My God.
Okay, I don't like this dude. What's up?
I hit a button on my keyboard which activated my Apple Music. It's a song of a singing cat.
Oh, okay.
It's called Ha He. Since it played, I'll play it again.
Okay.
Or not. Now that I'm trying to play it, it won't play.
Of course not.
Never mind.
All right, stand by, folks.
It is Festivus for the rest of us, and we are inviting you to air your grievances for us, and coming up, more grievances that maybe you can relate to. First, Charity with everything you need to know. Charity, what stories are you following?
President Biden is commuting the death sentences of 37 people, leaving only 3 federal prisoners on death row in America. A 7-year-old boy in Florida is recovering from heart surgery after a drone hit him in the chest, and investigators are trying to determine the cause of a deadly apartment fire on the city's northwest side. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies, early becoming partly cloudy later today. Slight chance for shower, highs in mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s, near 80. Wednesday, Christmas Day, a few clouds. Other than that, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. We're at 61 degrees. WOAI News Time, 7:52.
San Antonio's first news. We are on YouTube, by the way. We did have the past couple of weeks, we've had some issues technically with the YouTube stream, but as I speak, it is currently up and running. So you can see Charity McCurdy, and you can come for the eye candy, and you can stay for the chopped liver. It's a beautiful thing. And when Randy Beamer's here, it's a double eye candy YouTube day. So tune in. YouTube.
It's a lot of fun.
Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI.
You won't be sorry.
And Charity gave us a weird look for that one.
No, I've been seeing nothing but you guys on a split screen, so I don't think I'm featured in today's video stream, but it's quite all right. It's okay. I'm a radio girl, not a TV girl.
When EJ put his baseball cap backwards, I think it affected his IQ, and I think he now forgot that people don't tune in to watch me and Mr. T on the YouTube. I'm just that's why
That's how it is.
Keep doing what you're doing, EJ. It's all good.
We have YouTube so people can tune into Charity and Randy Beamer when he's here, and occasionally see what chopped liver is up to.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, just occasionally.
We'll get to the bottom of this. I think operations manager Andrew Zimmel is in the building. So.
I've heard rumors that he is here.
Yeah, so he will get right on that.
I think I saw a security team come in ahead of him. So
yes.
Pretty sure that they've cleared the building and he is in.
Yes. Well, one of my Festivus grievances is that Charity apparently is not appearing on the YouTube stream. So Charity, for other grievances that people have, we're asking people to air their Festivus grievances on our TalkBack feature. How would they do that without seeing you?
The free iHeartRadio app. You search 1200 WOAI, look for that red microphone button, hit it, 30 seconds to air your holiday grievances.
All right, during the break, I'm going to do an artist rendition of Charity. I'll show that to the people, okay?
Oh, okay.
Those are always horrible.
I know. All right, here is the people and their grievances on this Festivus.
Good Monday morning, y'all. This is Denny in Pipe Creek. My frustration in Festivus is the People's Republic of Bernie. It's been taken over by God knows who. They drive like they stole their cars out there. Hey, all y'all, that red sign that says stop, they really do want you to stop. Have a great day. Kick 'em.
Good morning, boys and girls. Cibolo Ron here. Word of advice, people. Everybody's in a rush. Everybody's got stuff they're dealing with. Nobody knows what somebody's day's been before they meet you. Give everybody the love and affection that you would give to all your brothers and sisters. And to the young lady who called earlier, whoop, and gig 'em.
Oh, Kemper.
Good morning. This is Daryl, and my Festivus grievance is definitely the traffic. And it's not that there's more traffic, it's the kind of traffic. It seems like some of these people only drive during Christmas time, especially around the San Pedro area, North Star Mall, and the Forum. I find myself saying, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Oh my God, you're going to cause a wreck. You know, these are the kind of people that say, I'm a good driver. But if you look behind them, there's absolute chaos and wrecks going on because of what they're doing.
Hi, this is Kelly from Livonia. I have a grievance for Festivus. My grievance is pet owners who put their older dogs down and then get a puppy for Christmas and then abandon it 6 months later because it's a grown dog. That's my grievance.
My 3 Festivus grievances. Numero uno, those giant, ugly 20-foot skeletons dressed up as Santa Claus in the front yard. B, the fact that I can't watch my local Spurs games without going through a paywall. 3, the fact that I have to go to work the day after the Super Bowl. That should be a national holiday. And bonus, businesses that don't offer military veteran or first responder discount.
Good morning, San Antonio's First News. This is Jeff. This year, I've had an opportunity to really think about priorities. And I guess what's really kind of got me irked is the things that people allow to get to them. I've really changed my perspective this year due to health issues. And I think we should all take a step back, take a deep breath, and really think about how serious is this really?
That's a very good message from Jeff. Charity, I often catch myself, and often I'm with my wife and I'll be whining about something, and then I'll realize, that's a first world problem. And I'll just say, oh God, first world problem. So you had Jeff there with a very positive message on Festivus. And Sybil O'Ron even said, you don't know what kind of a day someone's having or what they've been through today. True. So give them the love you would give the people you love in your life.
It's so true. You got to almost take a deep breath before you react in anger. I have to find myself doing that more than once on a daily occasion, whether I'm out and about dealing with other people at HEB or just even, just again, they're really minor things, but it builds up over time. But the only thing you can be in control of is how you react to it.
Amen. And, wise words from Jeff when he says, just think about it, the positive things in life and don't react to every negative thing. That's what I got out of his message. And I agree with that. But like Charity said, it's hard. It's easier to say that than it is to do it, because some things that happen out there are just so ridiculous. You can't do anything but get you pissed off.
Yeah, we have knee-jerk reactions to these things that happen either on the road, and we're trying to avoid road rage, or as we've talked about a number of times today, at HEB. Yeah. And we love HEB. We love the HEB employees, but some of the customers with your grocery carts not looking where you're going,
and by the way,
aisle.
Put them back when you're done with them. Thank you.
And this is why we're airing our grievances on Festivus, so we'll feel better after the show today. All right. Charity, we hope so. Charity coming up with everything you need to know right here at the top of the hour. Lots to talk about in the 8 o'clock hour, including that 7-year-old boy injured by drones falling out of the sky in Orlando at a holiday celebration. That and more coming up. WOAI News Time, 7:58.
8 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Trump talks Elon Musk influence and holiday shopping turns into tragedy. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your Monday forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low, 63. Get a move on. It is 62 degrees. President-elect Trump is dismissing speculation that billionaire Elon Musk will control the White House. Here's Lisa Carton.
Speaking at a conservative group, Turning Point USA's America Fest in Phoenix, Trump denied claims he ceded the presidency to Musk.
No, that's not happening.
The two men faced controversy last week after Musk publicly criticized a spending bill aimed at averting a government shutdown, after which Trump followed suit. Musk has been tapped to run the Department of Government Efficiency, which Trump plans to create once he takes office. I'm Lisa Carton.
While delivering remarks at America Fest, Trump notes Arizona's southern border with Mexico, claiming he will get to work quickly in securing it.
You just have a few days to wait. We're going to be fully operational, I would say, by about 2 o'clock on the 20th.
And Representative Tony Gonzalez says the U.S. should be concerned about terrorists entering the country through the southern border. The Texas Republican appeared on CBS's Face the Nation.
While the Biden administration has started to do some things right, the Trump administration is going to do everything right.
Gonzalez went on to claim there's a risk of border authorities letting in migrants with terrorist ties. President Biden is scrapping the death sentences for more than 36 federal inmates. Fox's Jared Halpern has details.
37 of the 40 inmates on federal death row will be spared from lethal injection. President Biden has commuted those death sentences to life without parole. The Biden administration has imposed a moratorium on lethal injections in cases other than terrorism or hate-motivated mass murder. President Biden is not commuting the death sentences for 3 inmates. Robert Bowers, convicted of a mass shooting at a synagogue, Dylan Roof, convicted of a mass shooting at a black church, and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, convicted for his role in the Boston Marathon bombing. In a statement, the president says he cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions he has halted. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Luigi Mangione is due back in court in New York City today, where he's expected to be arraigned on state charges. This after the 26-year-old Ivy League grad appeared in federal court Thursday to face charges of murder, stalking, and a firearms offense in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. As the Texas legislature prepares to start its next session, the race for House Speaker is yet to be settled. Republican state representatives Dustin Burrows of Lubbock and David Cook of Mansfield are the lead candidates in the increasingly contentious race. It is possible that Burrows or Cook may assemble the needed 76 votes, but another House member could step in as a compromise candidate and take the title. The next legislative session starts January 14th. Several people were hurt after a man crashed his car through the doors of a Killeen J.C. Penney. Here's Sergeant Brian Washko with the Texas DPS.
He did drive through the front door of the J.C. Penney store, striking 4 people. Those people were transported with some severe to minor injuries, and there was one other patient that I recently found out was a walk-in at the emergency room relating to this incident.
Authorities say the incident began as a car chase Saturday night. The driver of the car was shot and killed after multiple officers began firing at him. He's been identified as 53-year-old John Darrell Schultz of Kempner. A holiday drone show went awry in Orlando as drones fell and collided with the crowd. Here's Fox's Deborah Valentine.
The Orlando Fire Department said a 7-year-old boy was hospitalized after being struck by falling drones during the Orlando Christmas show.
Oh no! I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
The injured boy's mother spoke with Fox 35 in Orlando.
It was so surreal. It's like when you see those movies of the bird crashing into the window.
The city of Orlando canceled the show, citing technical difficulties. A spokesperson told Fox 35 the city is reaching out to the vendor. The FAA is investigating. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
It's another day of the Teamsters union strike against Amazon just ahead of Christmas. Amazon says it's not as big as it's being sold because only around 1% of its workforce are union members. Meantime, Starbucks union workers are striking in several cities with a pledge to keep the movement going through Christmas Eve unless a new collective bargaining agreement is reached. 4 Party City locations in San Antonio will close as the company shuts down all of its stores nationwide. The New Jersey-based Party City filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection last January, but it hasn't been able to find a way out of its financial struggles. And UTSA Roadrunners are wrapping up their football season with a bowl game against Coastal Carolina and today's Myrtle Beach Bowl. UTSA is listed as the home team, even though the game is at Coastal Carolina's home field of Brooks Stadium. Kickoff is at 10 a.m. and the game will air on ESPN. It is 8:06. So news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, I'm Chris Duell, EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, technically flying the Millennium Falcon, even though I give him a hard time about his backwards baseball cap, but, you know, we still love him.
Still backwards.
We love him. He is, to his credit, he is wearing a red United States Marine Corps hoodie today. So, yeah, so that absolves him to some extent. Big 8 o'clock hour. Lots to talk about. We'll dive in more. Yet drones are such a big story in this country right now. Now we factor in, as Charity reported moments ago, the 7-year-old boy severely injured at a drone show over the weekend in Orlando, Florida. We will get into that. And coming right up, my God, a horrific murder on a New York subway train yesterday morning. Horrible details, but it is certainly something that is a huge story and is something we should certainly talk about and be aware of. We'll get into that. And right now, though, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, highs in the upper 70s near 80. And then on Christmas, a few clouds. Other than that, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. It is 62 degrees. WOAI News Time 8:11.
San Antonio's first news. We have heard of horrible crimes committed on New York subway trains, and add another one that happened Sunday morning. A man, and here's one thing I'm curious about, and we'll check with Charity on this. A man who is being described as an illegal immigrant by Fox News from Guatemala, yet CNN not saying that. They're saying he's only identified as an immigrant from Guatemala. So some conflicting reports as to whether he is illegal or not. But he went up to a woman on that subway train. She appeared to be asleep by reports. And with a lighter, he set her clothes on fire. Her clothes fully engulfed in flames in seconds. And she died as a result of that fire. Charity, just add this to the brutal, horrible things we have seen reported happening on New York subway trains.
Yeah. And of course, when this happened, the same day, New York Governor Kathy Hochul apparently posted on social media touting the decrease in crime on the New York City subways, not realizing what had happened. So just bad timing, to say the least. I've ridden on a New York City subway before. Have you guys? Have
Many
you been?
times.
Okay.
Many times.
Yeah, it's one of those things where unspoken rules: don't make eye contact and don't fall asleep.
Nope. And don't talk to people you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. I just can't imagine being that woman and being lit on fire. It's one of my biggest fears in life, and it's just one of the most awful ways to go. And to this guy to light her on fire and then watch her burn to death. This is a sick individual that needs to be, let's just say, kicked out of the country right now.
And brought to justice in a very severe way. Now, Mr. T, you looked at a Fox News report that says
illegal migrant.
The assailant is an
yeah.
illegal migrant from Guatemala. Yet I'm looking at a CNN report, Charity, that says he is an immigrant from Guatemala, and it doesn't further identify the suspect. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Fox News has sourced this correctly, and he is illegal. I mean, obviously, this is a heinous murder, whether this guy was legal or not, but obviously immigration is a problem. The crimes committed by illegal immigrants has been very, very well documented, especially this year and through the election. So I think this is something we need clarified.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it's the number one voter concern is the southern border, who we're letting in. And as part of Trump's mass deportation plan, he will go after violent, criminal, illegal immigrants. And we'll find out if this individual will be among those targeted. But it's horrifying, absolutely horrifying.
And I'm with you, Chris. Doesn't matter if he was illegal or not. This is a heinous crime, and it should be dealt with in a heinous manner, because this is just god awful. To light somebody on fire, to watch them burn.
Yeah,
there's a special place in hell for you.
Yeah, law enforcement and security cameras suggest that that's what he did. He lit her on fire
just to watch her.
The nature of the fabric of her clothes engulfed in flames very, very quickly, and then he just sat back and watched her burn to death. Horrible, horrible crime.
And I wonder why they don't have fire extinguishers, behind glass or something you can break in the event.
Would steal them.
Probably, but there are surveillance videos, so they could track these people down if they did. But
I agree. There should be some sort of fire suppressant somewhere on there. But my God, I just can't. It's just puzzling me to why somebody would do something like this.
We'll keep an eye on that story. We'll try to further identify the assailant and his status. Was he illegal or not, as part of that story coming up? Horrible story out of Orlando, Florida. Charity's been reporting on it all morning. A 7-year-old boy severely injured during a holiday drone event, a drone show with many, many, many drones in the sky. They began to fall from the sky. Something went horribly wrong. This on the heels of all of the news of drones, unidentified drones being seen on the East Coast. Obviously, we knew the source of these drones, but it just goes to show how bad things can go with drones. We'll talk about that coming up, get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. WOAI News Time, 8:15.
Hello, Joyce. How are you? Can you hear us now? Just got this from NBC. Former Rep Matt Gaetz seeks restraining order to halt the release of that House ethics report. You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, maybe that could be 8:40. That's breaking news.
Yeah. And doesn't that scream, I wonder what's in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't send it to Charity. Let me send it to her.
Sam, that's interesting. Which party city was that?
Wait, there's more than one?
Apparently 4, according to our reporting.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Interesting.
25 of you in here on the YouTube stream. Good morning. Sorry, you don't see Charity right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on with the switching capability with EJ. We'll work on that.
We'll be all over it. All right. So we're still doing drones here, right?
Yes.
So I hope everybody's going to have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, tomorrow is our Christmas Eve spectacular.
Oh, I like it. We're having a spectacular?
Yes.
Man, I don't know what to wear to a spectacular, Chris. Regular shows, I pretty much know what to wear, but spectaculars, does it tux? I mean, what do you do? I mean, is it one of those things where, it's free 4 minute kind of thing?
Good question.
Okay. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Yes. Cowboys.
Yeah. It was a hell of a pass, though.
Just keep further wrecking your draft position.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, somebody cover that guy? Stand by, Chris.
Okay. This is Festivus, by the way, for all the rest of us. And if you would like to air your holiday grievances, go to the free iHeartRadio app, search 1200 WOAI, press the microphone button. You got 30 seconds, and we will listen to and react to your Festivus holiday grievances coming up. First, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
President-elect Trump spoke at the Turning Point USA America First event with a focus on border issues. The DHS secretary is concerned about online rhetoric following the United Healthcare CEO killing. Texas AG Ken Paxton is suing the NCAA over biological men and women's sports. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. And on Christmas, a few clouds. Other than that, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. We're at 62 degrees. WOAI News Time, 8:20.
San Antonio's first news. Normally at this time, we enjoy connecting with Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, but He is a man in demand.
He is in demand,
and he's not available this morning. He's on assignment. Nonetheless, this segment is brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. And the last couple of weeks, we've talked so much about unidentified drones in the sky over New Jersey and over the East Coast. Well, they knew the source of the drones. It was a holiday show at Orlando's Lake Eola Park, where what is described as dozens of drones lighting up the sky, doing Christmas-themed shapes like swans and doves, Christmas trees, and Santa Claus and presents in the sky, dazzling the crowd below on Saturday evening, but something went terribly wrong. Drones began to fall from the sky, and one drone hit a 7-year-old boy. The blade cut his mouth, and there was an actual imprint of the drone on his chest. And Charity, as we've been describing this morning, it damaged one of his heart valves. He had to have heart surgery. He is hospitalized. This is just an example of, a drone show and drones that were supposed to be controlled correctly going very, very, very wrong.
And I'm kind of surprised this doesn't happen more often because drone shows have become very, very popular. They have them, over the Alamo during 4th of July. So we know that this drone show specifically out of Florida was organized by Sky Elements, it's a Texas-based company that does events nationwide. But again, most of these drones are made in China. And we've been talking about, possible scenarios with adversaries wanting to carry out some sort of attack. And with these drone shows drawing large crowds, it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but is it? Is it a potential threat that we need to be aware of?
I think we need to be aware of a lot of things when it comes to threats, but you're right. When they're manufacturing these drones over in China, they could be putting a chip in there that allows them to take it over anytime they want. But I'm surprised that these things are computer operated, first of all. With everything going on nowadays, you know how easy things are to get hacked. A bad actor could hack into these computers and control these drones and make them do all kinds of things.
When you mentioned, China, someone could put a chip in these drones and commandeer them. I thought about that story involving Israel. Not that long ago on the cell phones that blew up. They were able to commandeer cell phones with a chip in the cell phones.
That's right.
I think it was Hezbollah did not know about. So, and then my other concern, Charity, is even if it were a legitimate drone show, if you had bad actors with their own drones, let's say you're going to have a drone show over a park or a stadium, and then someone else shows up with these other drones that are marked or engineered to do bad things, either with weapons on them or perhaps some sort of biological weapon. I just think there is such a high possibility for drones to be used for negative purposes. And I know there's probably a lot of drone enthusiasts listening right now saying, oh, come on, don't be crazy. But, we live in a world where jetliners were flown into towers on 9/11, 2001. If you leave a door open to terrorists using technology to do harm to us, they will find a way.
I'm just surprised that you don't have to sign a disclaimer of some sort to be a witness of one of these drone holiday shows. Just knowing that it can cause this much damage from falling out of the sky. You'll have to have open heart surgery potentially. This is horrible, and hopefully it doesn't happen again, but something you definitely need to be aware of.
Yeah, and I was watching footage of this earlier, when they were showing how it all started, and you just see all these things dropping, and you could hear like a child in the background asking, are they supposed to be falling like this? And we're talking not just one or two, there was a bunch of them falling and just people scattering. And luckily the paramedics were about 50 feet away from where the individual got hurt was. So they got there quickly, but still.
Man, God love that 7-year-old boy. Hopefully he makes a full recovery. We'll continue to track that story and try to learn more about that. Charity, with all the big stories you need to know about at the bottom of the hour, we'll hear some more of your Festivus grievances. Also, UTSA in a bowl game at 10 o'clock this morning. Andy Everett's pregame show started at 4 this morning,
Yes.
I believe. It's underway on our sister station. And Mega Millions tomorrow night.
Woo!
You want to make your Christmas Eve very happy? We'll talk about Mega Millions coming up as well. WOAI News Time, 8:25.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hello. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I don't get a thumbs up from EJ, so I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't get, so we can either go UTSA and Mega Millions unless grievances come in.
Yeah, I have none right now.
Okay. So I will text Charity and.
Okay, according to SR $2001 $?
Yeah.
He says, by the way, last night coming from a family gathering out in Timberwood Park, he saw a large drone hovering around 200 feet up or so. Yep, here in the 210 area.
Wow. Get
Not
used
surprised.
to it. It's the new thing.
No, it's EJ doesn't know how to switch the cameras back and forth.
So we know, yeah.
That's what it is.
We need to work on that. Maybe we should tell our operations manager.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's still 0 on the TalkBack front. All right, then. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What is the Mega Millions jackpot? 944?
944 is what I saw this morning, but I'm thinking since it's Christmas Eve, Chris,
yeah,
I think a lot more people might buy tickets and it might go up even more.
So what is the latest?
It's 944 is what I saw on the billboard.
That is accurate?
Yeah, I saw that on the billboard this morning.
Okay.
Yep, 944. Cash option 429.4 million. Next drawing tomorrow night, 10 p.m. I'll get it. It's probably Chris. Oh, it is.
So if you were tailgating before that UTSA game, granted, it's in the Eastern time zone, so it's at 11, but my God.
Still, you're out there at 9.
Yeah. Tommy Miller, take care, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, brother.
Everybody in here, 27 of you currently. Thanks for hanging.
Say hello to your grandson for us.
We're trying to school EJ on cutting to charity because we know a lot of you.
You know you're not here to
come
see
here
us
for charity.
Let's just face it. We're chopped liver people. Dun 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 dun.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first
Gosh, you
news.
went on a
Good
long
Monday morning. I'm
diatribe,
Charity
didn't
McCurdy. Among our top
Charity.
stories, the DHS secretary
Yeah, when we
speaks
were
out
doing
about
that
the
last
accused
segment, she went
CEO
off,
killer,
yeah.
and the Texas AG takes on the NCAA. First, traffic
nodded out a
and
couple
weather
times
together
during
every
it.
10
I don't know if
minutes
that's
and
okay or
mornings.
not. Bum, 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 bum. Got the Y.
And your Monday forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, a high in the upper 70s. Tonight's low 63, right now 62 degrees. Well, the Homeland Security Secretary says the recent killing of a healthcare CEO in New York City concerns him because of how it's been glorified. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says what bothers him about the killing earlier this month of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan is
the heroism that is being attributed to an alleged murderer.
On CBS Face the Nation, Mayorkas called it a heightened threat environment fueled in part by social media, not just against CEOs, but government as well.
Personal grievances and the language of violence.
Thompson's alleged killer, Luigi Mangione, is in New York to face federal and state charges, including murder and stalking. In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
President Biden is commuting the death sentences of 37 people, leaving only 3 federal prisoners on death row in America. Biden announced this morning that he condemns the murders committed, but can't in good conscience advocate for the death penalty at the federal level. Biden's administration has imposed a moratorium on executions, and the president says he can't let a new administration resume the executions that he halted. President-elect Trump delivered remarks at Turning Point USA's America Fest in Phoenix, where he touted his election victory and performance with young voters.
We won by 36 points with young people. That never happens. A Republican loses by 36 or 40. So I'm going to have to start thinking about TikTok. I think we're going to have to start thinking.
Meantime, backers of Trump are eager to see his plans for mass deportations. Here's Rex Oates with more.
There's bipartisan agreement that illegal immigrants with orders of deportation should be the first ones targeted by the raids. But after that, it gets muddy. Congressman Henry Cuellar predicts there'll be a debate over dreamers who were brought across the border as kids.
We certainly want to make sure that the people that are here that have no criminal records, have been here for a long time, that they will be allowed to stay here.
The Texas border Democrat thinks the incoming president will agree. Trump told NBC News that when it comes to deportations, DACA recipients will be at the back of the line. He promised to do something about their status. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A holiday season government shutdown has been avoided. The House passed a stopgap measure over the weekend with the Senate following suit. President Biden signed the short-term funding bill on Saturday morning. Several people were hurt after a man crashed his car through the doors of a Killeen J.C. Penney. Sergeant Brian Washko with the Texas DPS says the driver was ultimately killed after actively running people over.
There's officers from DPS, the Killeen Police Department, and 3 other agencies that engaged in gunfire to eliminate this threat to the community.
5 people ranging in age from 6 to 75 years old were injured. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of a deadly apartment fire on the northwest side yesterday morning. The fire at the Fredericksburg Place apartments damaged 2 units and 2 more suffered smoke and water damage. Firefighters went to rescue a woman who was calling for help from a balcony, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the NCAA over the issue of transgender athletes. Brian Gann has more.
Paxton says the NCAA violates the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act by allowing biological males to participate in events advertised as women's athletic competitions. Paxton accuses the NCAA of jeopardizing the safety and well-being of women by allowing males to compete against them and of misleading fans by not identifying which athletes are transgender. Brian Gann, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The FDA wants to make America healthy again by doing a deep dive on artificial food coloring. That's music to the ears of healthcare workers who say the current study suggests there might be a link with diabetes and ADHD.
Some of the children might be a little bit more sensitive to dyes than others.
Dr. Cristiane Morales at UT Health San Antonio says the problem is all the studies have been small. The FDA's deputy commissioner told lawmakers that it's been over a decade since the safety of red number 40 has been re-evaluated. And as for red number 3, there is a plan to ban it from foods. Well, there's no end in sight for the strike by Amazon workers affiliated with the Teamsters Union. Fox Business correspondent Max Gordon has more.
This strike is growing. Delivery drivers over at an air hub here in Southern California, as well as at a warehouse over on Staten Island, have joined in on this strike. This after workers walked off the job early Thursday morning. These are drivers for firms that contract with Amazon. In total, workers are striking at 9 different Amazon facilities nationwide. Organized by the Teamsters Union, which claims to represent 10,000 Amazon delivery drivers, the workers say they're demanding a fair union contract that guarantees wages, health care, and safety.
The strike comes amid fears that President-elect Trump will appoint members to the National Labor Relations Board that will be less favorable to unions. Texans wide receiver Tank Dell may be out for the season following a significant knee injury. Dell suffered the injury during yesterday's 27-19 road loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. He returned to Houston after being treated at the University of Kansas Medical Center Trauma Unit. Dell's rookie season last year ended early because of a broken fibula that required surgery. Earlier this year, he was shot in the leg in a mass shooting at a party in Florida. The Alamo Dome Field has a fresh paint job ahead of the Valero Alamo Bowl. The event's president and CEO, Derek Fox, says the upcoming game between BYU and Colorado will have a higher economic impact on the city than usual. Fox says the game's average economic impact is about $40 million, but with 2 out-of-state teams, it'll probably be higher. Kickoff is at Saturday night at 6:30. It is 8:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, a check of your money and the world of business. Courtney Donahoe is at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Wednesday is Christmas, but today is
a Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes. And we are allowing you to air your grievances on the 50,000-watt blowtorch and worldwide on the free iHeartRadio app to, as Charity McCurdy put it earlier this morning, cleanse your soul for Christmas.
Just in time
Eve
for Christmas. I
tomorrow.
love it. I love
exactly. So, Mr. T, why don't we play one more?
Here we go.
Hi, this is Mary from New Braunfels. My Festivus grievance is the people who tailgate you on the highway and then they wonder why there's so many accidents that involve multiple cars. It's because you're tailgating. And also, people, if you're from California, you drive a motorcycle, the laws are different here. You can't drive between lanes and do whatever you want.
Wow. Yeah, on both of those, Charity, I feel her pain on both of those.
I'm telling you, it's like everyone's in a hurry to get to where they're going and they don't care about anyone else.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so true. So true. All right, somebody could have a very, very Merry Christmas, and it could happen on Christmas Eve tomorrow night because the Mega Millions jackpot, as we speak, is probably going to grow. But at last check, $944 million with a cash value, and I'll take that, please, of $429.4 million. Of course, I would have to subtract $1 million for Charity, $1 million for Mr. T, because we have a pact.
We do. And I have gone out of my way the last couple of drawings to stop at a gas station, go inside that convenience store, and get my Mega Millions ticket, only to scan it the next morning, and it's a loser.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
but I'm with you, Chris. The fact that it's on Christmas Eve, I wonder if people that normally don't buy lottery tickets will go out and buy lottery tickets, so therefore the jackpot could grow to over $944 million.
I have a feeling.
And like you, Charity, there's a place in Floresville called Squeaks, and apparently they sell more winning tickets than anybody else around this area, but they're all scratch-offs. But I'm going to try.
Yes.
I'm going to try it to see if that might give me some luck.
You're going to go to Squeaks.
I'm going to go to Squeaks.
Very, very nice.
And keep in mind, the last jackpot that was won was back in September, and that was a single winner from Texas who got $800 million.
Do you know who it is?
Nobody knows.
If I
who it is,
did,
you know?
I mean, I'd be getting a cut, hopefully.
My best friend.
If that person disappeared off the face of the earth and nobody can find him or her. Meanwhile, okay, the show ends about 9 o'clock this morning, but 10 o'clock this morning, and I can't believe it, UTSA, their bowl game, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, is on ESPN television, but it's also on our sister station, Ticket 760.
Yes, the pregame started at about 7 o'clock last night.
Yes, Andy Everett likes those long pregames.
He does, likes them really long.
But 10 o'clock this morning, we are an hour and 17 minutes away from kickoff, UTSA versus Coastal Carolina in the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Yeah, and I think UTSA wins it. That is my bold prediction.
I like that. It's a bold prediction. They're favored by 13.5.
It's a bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
And see, what I don't get, as T mentioned, Charity, UTSA is a 13.5-point favorite in South Carolina at Brooks Stadium. It's in a town called Conway, South Carolina, versus Coastal Carolina, which is much closer to that stadium than you. So it's essentially a home game for Coastal Carolina, and both teams are 6-6, and UTSA is a 13.5-point favorite. That's wild.
It is. But, I think it's been a rough year for the Roadrunners, and I think they're going to end it with a high note. Yeah, and the fact, this is their fifth bowl appearance, I believe consecutive bowl appearance.
I believe so.
All under Jeff Traylor.
All under Jeff Traylor. And look, it's a battle of the birds. You got the Fighting Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina against the Roadrunners of UTSA.
Help me out.
It's a fighting rooster.
A Chanticleer is
a fighting rooster, yes. Very pretty fighting rooster at that.
That's from T's cockfighting days. He knows all about that.
Yes, I do. I used to raise some Chanticleers.
So a fighting rooster is pretty? So you have
it's very colorful. It's very colorful.
What an adorable.
That's how you know it's a Chanticleer. That's how you know it's a Chanticleer. It doesn't look like one of them ordinary fighting roosters. This one's got colors on it and it looks pretty. Yeah.
Sounds too much like chandelier to me. Who named this? It's a rooster.
It's the type of rooster is what it is, a Chanticleer.
Are there many variations of roosters?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not all roosters are the same, Chris.
I know that. But do they have multiple names like Chanticleers and Chandeliers?
Oh, God, yes. They have all different kinds of names. Chanticleer is just being the one that I know.
I am not
Very
hip,
familiar with the
I am
Chanticleers.
not hip to my roosters. So
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I got a Jersey Giant, a Brahma rooster, a
See?
Rhode Island Red, a Plymouth Rock.
My God.
Yeah, there's a bunch, man.
A Crowed Langshan.
The Crowed Langshans are tough, though, man. You don't want to mess with them.
no. Could a Chanticleer take a Crowed Langshan down?
It would be a close fight, Chris.
It would.
It would be a very close fight. Now, Roadrunners are faster, though. So
True.
you watch out, man. They're quick. They move fast.
And they have access to all that Acme hardware.
Exactly.
So,
Those holes. You can throw them down the ground. There they go. They're down.
and they use anvils from
Ooh.
high above. All right, coming up, Matt Gaetz. This House ethics report looks like it might be coming down. Matt Gaetz trying to fight it, and it's not looking good for him. We'll talk about that coming up. Charity with everything you need to know at coming right up. In fact, we'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather in just a sec. WOAI News Time, 8:46. Coming up as we speak, some details about that House Ethics Report investigation on former Congressman Matt Gaetz and what he's trying to do to make sure we never hear about it. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
President Biden has commuted the death sentences of 37 federal prisoners. Luigi Mangione is due back in court in New York City today, where he's expected to be arraigned on state charges. And the UTSA Roadrunners are in South Carolina for this morning's Myrtle Beach Bowl. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon. Slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, highs in the mid to upper 70s, near 80. And then on Christmas Day, a few clouds. Other than that, generally sunny, highs in the upper 60s. We're at 62 degrees. WOAI News Time, 8:52.
You had me at near 80 degrees. Looks like I'll be at the pool a few days this week. San Antonio's first news, our thanks to EJ Pacheco, doing a great job flying the Millennium Falcon solo this morning. Reporting this morning, more of the details in that House Ethics Committee report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. Of course, he pulled out of the nominating process for Attorney General. But in this report, there is apparently, it details that he spent tens of thousands of dollars for women for sex or drugs on at least 20 occasions. The most damning, it says that he paid a 17-year-old girl for sex in 2017, according to the final draft of the panel's report. And that is CNN reporting that at this moment. Charity.
Yeah, and Gaetz has filed a temporary restraining order in an effort to block the release of that report. He's arguing he's a private citizen and it would cause irreparable harm. But it sounds like the cat's already out of the bag. Of course, Gaetz denies any wrongdoing, and the Justice Department investigated that claim involving sex with a minor, but ended up not filing any criminal charges against Gaetz. But obviously, Gaetz has a lot to worry about when it comes to his future. He recently signed a deal to become an anchor on One American News Network, which will get going in January. And he's apparently taking a page from disgraced former Congressman George Santos. He's now selling personalized video messages on Cameo.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm just wondering why, if they have evidence of this, if this report found evidence, why there were no charges filed. If he broke laws, then charge him with something. If not, then why do you want to damage his reputation like this if you're not going to file charges?
It's a great question. And, you know, Charity brought us Christmas gifts this morning. We haven't opened them yet because I'm going to wait till Christmas. But Charity, cat's out of the bag. I got you a Matt Gaetz Cameo Christmas greeting from Matt Gaetz. And he's offering you illicit drugs and says he's a big fan of your newscast. So
I'm sure
you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I can't wait to decline his invitation to go to the Bahamas.
You're turning down his gift, man.
No thanks. That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. What is Matt Gaetz?
Yeah,
I mean,
could be entertaining.
I mean, you know, he's got great hair.
Yeah,
great hair.
He kind of has like a superhero villain face going on. Like I can see him as a Joker, kind of.
I can see that.
Yes.
Or a Harvey Dent. I don't know.
It could be he could go to, you know, Hollywood could be the next thing. He'd be a great villain.
Yeah, I mean, look, Robert Downey Jr. went through all that. Now he's Iron Man. Why not?
Could be the next big thing.
Yeah.
Well, we will try to digest all of this overnight, including the restraining order that Charity mentions. Matt Gaetz trying to keep us from seeing this final draft of the report of the House Ethics Committee report. It looks like it's going to turn into a big story today, and it's one of the many things we'll cover tomorrow. Our thanks to EJ again, and we will get this underway tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Christmas Eve, our special Christmas Eve spectacular. We're very excited.
Wait, what do we wear to a spectacular, Charity?
One of your many famous Christmas sweaters.
Yes.
Okay.
You won't disappoint, I have a feeling.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go find a Christmas sweater, but I've got...
You want to borrow one?
I've got 21
I've got
hours.
many.
Sure, yeah, bring 2.
I've got many.
Bring 2. I'll throw one of those on.
Chris, you don't own a Christmas sweater? What's going on here?
I don't. I've led a very sheltered life. Today could be the day. Plus, I'm about to win $944 million in that Mega Millions jackpot.
Well, it won't be till tomorrow night. So,
yeah, but I can,
I'll lend you a sweater.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that. Glenn Beck is coming up before that. Charity McCurdy with all the big stories you need to know about at the top of the hour. But right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time, 8:56. Yes.
Everybody have a great night. We will see you tomorrow on Christmas Eve.
We'll try to get Charity on the video stream.
Yeah, we're going to
tomorrow
work on that right
now. We can make that happen.